In modern software development, testing is not something we do at the end. It's something we integrate throughout the development process. Two important approaches that help achieve this are test-driven development, that is TDD, and behavior-driven development, that is BDD. In this course, we are going to learn about test-driven development, that is TDD, and behavior-driven development, that is BDD. But before we jump into BDD, it is very important to understand a foundational concept, that is TDD. Because once you understand TDD clearly, learning BDD becomes very easy. But before starting the TDD learning, let us start with the traditional approach which was followed even before test-driven development. So before test-driven development, we used to follow the traditional approach. Let us take a simple example. Suppose I ask you to write a program to add two numbers. What would you normally do? You would first write the complete code to add two numbers and then you will execute it. And finally, you will test it with different inputs. You will provide 5 plus 7, you can provide 10 plus 20 and so on. You will provide a set of inputs so that you can test if your addition program is working correctly or not. This is the traditional approach where you first do the development and then you do the testing. But there is a problem with this approach. Now, let us understand what the problem is by taking a real world example. Let us say you are developing a login module and it requires around 10 different functions or methods to be created to implement that login functionality. So as a developer, what you will do, you will write those 10 functions to implement the login functionality, and then you will start writing the unit test cases to test those functions, right? And finally, you will execute your test cases to find out if your login functions are working correctly or not. This is the approach which we follow in the traditional way of development, right? But what if one of the test case starts failing? What you will do? You will go back to your code, you will make some code changes, you will fix the issue, and that change might impact your other functions also because they are interconnected. They are part of the same functionality, which is the login functionality. So if you make certain changes in one of the functions, it can have an impact on other functions also. So this makes debugging more complex and time consuming because you will have to go through your other functions also to find out if they are working correctly or not. So this is the problem with the traditional approach. This problem has been solved by TDD. So TDD completely changes the way we write code. Instead of writing the code first, we follow a different approach. So in the traditional approach, we used to write the code first and then we used to write the unit test cases, and then if the unit test cases start failing, we will again do the modification and so on, which becomes a very time consuming process. So the TDD solves this problem by changing the way we develop or we write the code. So in TDD style of development, we write the test cases first and then we will write the code to pass those test cases. So let us understand it step by step, how TDD works. So let us take our example of the login functionality itself. So first we will analyze the requirement. Okay, we analyze the requirement. We found out that we need to implement the login functionality which need 10 functions to be written. Now, before writing any code in the TDD way of development, we will write the unit test cases for all those functions first, right? Before even writing the actual code for the login functionality, we will first write the unit test cases for testing those code which we will write. So at this stage, we don't have the actual code yet. So if we execute our unit test cases, they will all fail, which is completely fine because we have not written our actual code yet. Then we will start writing the code. We will start writing the code for our login functionality. We will write the code for one function and then we will run the test case. The test case can either pass or fail. If it passes, we will move on to the next function and implement it and test the next test case. In case my test case fails, then I will fix the code immediately. So the very first function in which my test case has found the issue, I will fix that function and then only I will move to the next function for implementation of the remaining login functionality. This way, it will reduce the debugging time because the first time I am getting the error into my newly developed function, I am fixing right away before moving to my next function implementation. So this is a step-by-step manner how TDD works. So if we see the TDD cycle, first at the stage first, we will write all the test cases which are needed to test our functionality. And then we will run those test cases. Obviously, they will fail because we have not written our actual code yet, which is fine. The test cases will fail. At the next step, we will start implementing our actual functionality. We will make all the test cases pass by implementing the actual functionality. And if all the test cases are passed, then we will go for code refactoring. What is code refactoring? Code refactoring means to optimize the code, to clean up the code, or to make the code more readable from the developer point of view. If some other developer is looking at your code, he should be able to understand what is written easily. If the logic is optimized, code is clean, and code is readable, then it is considered as a good code. The best part of TDD is that you have the unit test cases ready by the time your the actual code is ready. You at that time you'll also have your unit test cases ready because we are writing the test cases at the first step itself.